Alrighty, so in this call with me, I have Becky and Chris, as well as Kyle. It is good to see you guys. In this call, we're going to talk about what is content. Now, I know some of you guys may brush off the idea of content. Oh, I already been making content. I already know how to do this. Well, to be quite honest, through my 2 years of building content and helping people and helping other business owners create content, there are a set of rules and lessons that I've acquired over my years as a business owner myself that I feel as though every other business owner should know. And it has opened my eyes, and I hope this opens your eyes as well. So, what is content? And this presentation was made by me, CEO of BeCreative Media. I just realized that my name is very off-centered, so I apologize about that. But without further ado, let's keep going. Number one, you have to put in the work, right? And what that means is you have to be patient. 100% of the time that you are working on content, your effort and your attention has to be on it 100% of the time, because anything less means that you're not putting in any effort, you won't be proud of your work, and you really won't achieve what you really want to achieve, because we already set ourselves at a high standards. If we don't perform and we don't execute at that same standard or expectation, then how can you expect to achieve what you want to achieve? And another question you want to ask yourself is, are you having fun and are you learning while you're putting in the work? So number one is you have to put in the work. That thing that you've pushed aside, that thing that you've delayed, or that one task or work that you've told yourself that you would do next week, do it now because you got to put in the work. Number two, just become more experienced, right? The longer you're in the game or the longer that you do it, the better that you'll get. And this is one cool philosophy that I talk about, right? And it's called persist versus resist. Not only do they rhyme, I feel as though this is a really good mindset to have, right? Persisting in this case really means not giving up. Don't give up, right? There's going to be days where we hit a mental block or a creator's block, or we just feel unmotivated. You cannot give up. Either you have to get up and stretch, take a coffee break, or look at yourself in the mirror and literally give yourself a pep talk. You have to persist. And also, you have to resist distractions. And distractions come in very sneaky ways, right? They call them in all shapes and sizes. Distractions aren't just people, and they aren't just your pets, and they aren't just things that are happening outside your window. Distractions can be negative feedback, or it can be little views from your content, no engagement from your content, or low monetization within your business, right? So don't be distracted in those sort of things because they are meant to bring you down. Once you let those distractions take a part of your life, you're accepting the fact that it will bring you down. Number three, ignorance is bliss, right? I just want to let you know there's no opinion out there in the world that can hurt you without your permission. Like, what type of world would we live in if we let a stranger, or what type of world would we live in if we give a stranger the power to control your well-being, to control your mental state, to control your actions towards your business? Now, ignorance is bliss. And to be quite honest, it's okay to be viewed as being ignorant. To be quite honest, like, I was a people person. I was a people pleaser. I've always wanted to be there for people. I've always wanted to be some sort of therapist for everyone. And then I soon realized that I am not improving myself. And in order to improve yourself, you have to sacrifice being everyone's therapist. You can't be everyone's therapist. So one thing that I've been working on is to not be so reachable. Because if you're giving your time to people that are in need, that is great. That's awesome. But at the same time, if you're giving all of your time to those people, when will you have the time to become better yourself? Sorry, my mom was calling me. Right? That's what I'm saying. It's okay to be viewed as ignorant because certain things you have to give 100% of your attention to. And the best investment for that is for yourself. So be okay with being viewed as ignorant. Number four, try new things and make mistakes. We all know this, right? We all know to make changes for ourselves because change is good. We all know that we have to become better. That's where innovation comes in. We want to innovate ourselves. But sometimes we struggle to do this for ourselves. We tell others to change. I'm sure you had people come up to you saying, I need to do this, I need to do that. And you tell them, oh, yeah, change works best in small steps or in small increments. We're good at telling these people things, but we're not good at implementing it to ourselves. Ever since we were little, let's reminisce about us being as kids when we were younger, right? Our parents and our influences around our lives taught us to do what we can to avoid failure, right? We've always wanted to avoid failure. We didn't want to be embarrassed. We didn't want to be the center of attention, or we didn't want to be the laughing stock of everyone. So we do what we can to avoid failure. But I would argue that we need more failure because I feel as though failure is an opportunity in disguise. And a lot of people have paraphrased this in a way where it can be more applicable to everyone else's life. Like you've probably heard of the quote, failure is the best teacher, or a boxer doesn't get strong unless he has cuts and bruises, right? Failure is just another way that you've tried that didn't work. So now you know one extra way of it not working. Where failure becomes bad is if you try the same method over and over again, expecting a different result. I believe Albert Einstein said, doing something that doesn't clearly work, but you keep on doing it is some sort of insanity, right? So failure gets a bad rep because the word fail is there, but at the same time, you have to view things glass half full rather than glass half empty. Number five, done is better than perfect. We always try to chase perfection, right? And a lot of times, perfection is viewed as a goal, but a lot of times perfection can be an obstacle. It can be something that's blocking us from finishing a task. Sometimes just finishing it is the route to go. It is known that, perfectionism is the form of procrastination. It can get in the way because you second guess yourself, you tell yourself it's not good enough, and then all of a sudden it's delayed, right? You can also see that perfectionism is the enemy of execution. It prevents you from actually finishing the task. A lot of times you set it at a standard of perfection that might not be the standard of perfection for your clients or your target audience. You don't know that unless you finish the task and put it out there, right? No one's going to care how much time you put into it. That's the last thing people are thinking. They're just looking at the product of it. And as long as your product states what it needs to state and it has the information that's necessary, then it's going to hit the right people. It's going to target the right people and it's going to communicate with them. So done is better than perfect. At least have it out there rather than you spending hours upon hours upon hours of time perfecting it. Those are really cool key quotes. Perfectionism can be a form of procrastination, and perfectionism can be the enemy of your execution. Number six, be generous. It feels good to, be generous to people, right? It feels good. It feels great to help people out. And it's really important to guide people towards success, a step closer to success. And let me tell you a story about my content. When I was younger, I was going through a lot of alcohol problems. I was smoking a little too much, smoking as in like, drugs and stuff like that. And I just wasn't really in the right mental state. And once I surrounded myself with positive people, and once I've developed healthier habits, both physically, mentally, and spiritually, I wrote an original song called It's Okay to Not Be Okay. Very cheesy, but I was only 20 at the time. And it's an original song with original lyrics and things that I wrote things that kind of exposed me a bit, but I felt as though exposure was the best route to go, especially if I wanted to kind of, get out there and be open and welcome people that are fighting their own demons. So I put the song out there just because I wanted to, and I like the song actually, and I want to share the battles that I've overcome. And I didn't expect a number of feedback to come back at me. So this is a screenshot of my Instagram. And this is at the time, I don't think Instagram allowed you to share a video for more than like a minute. So these are two separate videos in one post that people can listen to. Um, Sorry, it's called It's Okay, Not It's Okay to Not Be Okay. I think I switched the titles around a couple of times and I got really good feedback. People that I didn't know and people that I never talked to reached out to me, such as this person here, who is, I believe she's in the Air Force. And she just randomly messaged me, and I have no idea who she is because she lives in Alaska and I live in Pennsylvania. So how did that happen? And it just happened because the content reached the right person. She was going through something really tough, right? And we talked more about it in this conversation, but I screenshotted this part because this was the first thing that she sent me. And, I'm not telling you guys to create a music video or to create an emotional song, but I do want to say that if you have good intention towards your post, especially your credibility and your approachability type of post, then it's going to hit the right people. And as long as you're genuine towards it, then it's going to come back. Once you spread kindness, it usually comes back around. So whenever you're making content, be generous, right? Be the bigger person and be someone's inspiration. Number 7, you are a very poor judge of your own talent. You got to realize if you're making content, right? Especially when I make content, I don't look at my content and say, "Oh, that's good. That's perfect." I actually get feedback from my colleagues. And I even ask feedback from my girlfriend, who is all over on social media. She loves social media. So I ask her about her opinion, and she is very blunt. She doesn't care. And I welcome that. You have to welcome that too. So when we're building content, we're creating and we're expressing our ideas, and we release the content out there so that we can learn more from what we already know. And like I said in the other step before, you want to make a difference in someone else's life, right? And if you work towards that and you create more and more content, somebody is going to connect with it. And then you'll be able to now view yourself and see yourself from a different lens. Ever since that person reached out to me about my song, I now see myself saying, hey, I have this skill, I have this talent of reaching out to people. I have to make the most out of it. Let me create more content so it hits more people. That's why every now and then I'll use a value or inspirational post or my motivational quotes. And every now often I have people messaging me about saying how it impacted them and how they'll be able to apply these principles and these new things into their own lives strictly because of content. This would not have happened if I didn't post any content. So have good intentions towards your content, post enough content so that the likelihood of someone catching it and connecting it is a lot higher. And don't be afraid to put things out there. Don't think that you're the only judge of your own talent. Be open to having others judge it and view it and have an opinion on it. It's not always going to be good. But like I said before, in the other step, like who are they to tell you that it sucks? It's not going to hurt you. Just keep putting content out there. People say if you have haters, that means you made it, right? That's how I look at it. Number 8, plans are overrated. Now, I have a lot of people kind of argue and dispute this towards me, but I will still stand by that plans are overrated. Why? Because there was this once a famous boxer, right, that says everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And this quote was notoriously known by Mike Tyson. And it makes sense. Let's say you're in a boxing ring, which I don't see any of you guys doing, but let's say, just visualize yourself in the boxing ring, then you know the opponent's weaknesses and strengths, and then you're doing well in the first couple of seconds, and all of a sudden you get punched in the mouth, and then you wake up in like your bed or the hospital. You had a plan and you thought it was going to go well, but then you get punched in the mouth, and then all of a sudden the plan is now worthless. And this quote hits me because I believe having a very strict plan blinds you from unforeseen opportunities. Everyone seems to be stuck in this planning and preparing stage of their life. Like, who here has woken up and sat at their desk or they're working and they say, hey, I'm going to do this someday. I'm going to plan on doing this. Oh, what if I did this, this, and this, and that? I should be able to get this. I'll make this amount of money. I'll do that. A lot of times it doesn't happen. Next week, you revisit that plan saying, hey, let's move forward today. Let me take a step forward. Let me do this so that I'm one step closer to my goal. And a lot of times we don't accomplish our goals. A lot of times we're still stuck in that planning and preparing stage. And a lot of times in most of our careers, we're just going to be stuck in it. What good is being stuck in the planning and preparing stage if we're not going to execute? Like I said before, everyone seems to get stuck in the planning and preparing stage for most of their career. This is called paralysis by analysis. Lifelong planning. You're just planning. Plans are plans, or I should say plans just stay as plans, right? And, we all know that one friend that says, oh, we should do this sometime. We should do that sometime. It never happens, right? Don't be that person. Be a doer. So instead of having plans, I would recommend, move in a direction and adjust as you go. Because there's going to be things that pop up that you can't control. But since you're already moving in a direction, you should be able to adjust and adapt. Like I said before, plans are things that blind you from unforeseen opportunities. How many opportunities have you missed because you were so stuck on this one goal, this one plan? You may not remember it, or you may possibly remember it. But what if I told you that your life can significantly become better and more productive if you just move in a direction with a very strong vision, but you're prepared for unforeseen opportunities? How much better of a person would you be? How much better content would you create if you're more open to unforeseen opportunities? I mean, Nike says it best. Just do it. Right? Number 9, it's okay to be weird. I am very weird. I am probably the most unnormal person ever, and I am okay with that. I'm sure you guys are okay with that too. Who wants to be normal in this day of age, right? Normal is old. Normal is dead. What makes you weird makes you wonderful. Being different gives you a competitive advantage. If you look back at all the great ideas and the great inventions, right, you realize that many people have been repeating the same ideology and the same ideas for hundreds, if not thousands of years. But why do we remember Thomas Edison? Why do we remember Elon Musk? Why do we remember Jeff Bezos? They weren't pioneers of their time. There were people that thought of these ideas earlier. Like Thomas Edison was like the third scientist to mention the word light bulb, but he was the one to perfect it. So what is the key of leveraging being different and being weird? People tune into your personality and your voice. People tune into how unique you are, right? Because if you're normal, you just blend in with everyone else. So you have to stand out and you have to be unique, right? Do you think you're the first cleaning company out there? No, there's been cleaning companies since God knows when. right? I don't know the actual history of cleaning, but you could probably go pretty far back. But what makes you different? What will make you stand out? Because there's no such thing as original ideas. So how can you stand out? And you have to be unique. You have to be consistent with your voice, and you have to attract your audience. You have to build an audience because the bigger the audience, that's a bigger magnet. And the bigger the magnet, the more you can attract, the more things can gravitate towards you, whether that's good things, money, people, audience, staff, cleaning opportunities, cleaning equipment, sponsorships. You'll be able to attract all of that once you build an audience and you're consistent with your voice, personality, and your uniqueness. And my last step is to have fun. Building content should be fun. Yes, it's draining, but it's draining because you perceive it as work. But if you perceive it as something fun, you'll have more of a likelihood to create more and more content because you'll get in a state of flow and you'll be able to post more and more content. What's the point of life if you don't smile? What's the point of life if you don't laugh? What's the point of life if you don't enjoy with others? And of course, last but not least, what is the point of life? And I'm not going to go too far into it. It is a very abstract concept. It is a very deep question. But your content, whether it's business or personal, tells a story. So when you're building content, you have to ask yourself, what's the best way to share your story? And in my company, I tell people, be smart, be innovative, be kind, and be creative. That's why I call my company BeCreative Media. So when you're building this content, just know that there's no wrong way to do your content. Be open to making your content better. Understand that your content can be better. Understand that your content tells a story. Understand that your content will reach the right people. And understand that posting consistently is the best strategy. I can't give you a perfect plan because I don't believe in plans. I believe in movement. Move forward in the right direction and be able to adapt and adjust as you go because things are going to pop up that you cannot control. So go ahead and be smart, be innovative, be kind, and be creative, but also go and create because you have to build a legacy. You want to be known for something, make your content speak for it. So that is the end of my presentation. How's everyone feeling? Does anyone want to unmute and share what they've learned? I know I talked a lot and it was probably a lot for you guys, but I would love to hear your feedback.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm better this week. Last week I get sick, so um, so I understand what you said about your presentation, but I'm just trying to process everything because I guess it's a lot of information that's not just used by services, I guess, like a work. But it's very useful for the work. Like if you don't have fun, if you have time with others, you are just working. You're not being happy. You're not living. You're just working. So I guess that everything that you said is about balance, right? It's about you work, you enjoy your life, you enjoy, be yourself, be with friends, have times with high quality. So maybe that's what I was thinking about when I'm listening you, and I think like yes, I don't do that, yes I do that, or I try to do that, try to do it again, and like perfectionism, like you said, is procrastination. So and I procrastinate a lot. I'm trying to reduce this more and more, but some days is better than others. So I guess that it's all about balance too.
Yeah,
Everything is too much.
yeah,
It's bad too.
yeah. Content is so hard, and we either just brush it off or we see it as this like huge monster of a task. And it all depends on how you see it, right? And if you want to be more strategical towards it, I recommend making all your content in one day so that you can like schedule it and post it within the week so that in the next 6 or 5 days of you like not drawing yourself into content, you're learning, you're being exposed to different things, you're getting ideas, you're getting inspired, right? You have to recharge. I used to make content every single day, and then I realized my quality of content is diminishing. And the idea contradicts the belief that, if you create content every single day, you can make more. That's what we think, that's what we accept. But I realized that it's the opposite. Dedicate a shorter amount to building content, make a good amount of content, but you have to recharge so that you can draw inspiration and you can learn and you can grow as a person so that when you do make content again, it's better and it's improved. You talk a lot about procrastination. It could be that you set a time limit to yourself. I gotta make this amount of content. It's gonna take me this amount of time. You already know that it's gonna take you more than your perceived time. Maybe if you perceive content as like, hey, let me make this sort of content in the next 5 minutes. You're not going to make it in 5 minutes, but since you perceived it as 5 minutes, it might take you a lot less time than you telling yourself it's going to take an hour. You have to kind of trick your brain and you have to manipulate your brain in a way where you have more leverage than the brain itself. Um, but there's a lot of different tricks you can do. Everyone's different. I don't know your work habits. I don't know your study habits. But if you're not happy with your study and work habits now, don't just keep doing it. That doesn't make sense. You have to find some other way to try. Does it make sense, Kyle?
Yes.
Awesome. Fantastic. And I see there are a couple new people that showed up today. Siska, she and I have actually talked the other day. I think she and I are going to build a website this week. So that's going to be very exciting. It's good to see you, Siska. It's probably like 3 in the morning over there right now. Is that right? She's in Australia, by the way, if you guys didn't know. I think she's our first Australian client. So that's really cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you guys hear how tired she is? Like she's just working day in and day out. But Siska, you and I are gonna work on a website this upcoming week. I'm really excited for that. Make sure you get enough rest.
Thank you.
Of course, of course. And I actually recently spoke to Chris, who is labeled as XMDES right now. She is one of our clients' VA. But I've talked to her a little bit. We're working on a couple of new templates that we're gonna make over on social media, and hopefully this call has inspired Chris a little bit on the definition of content. Content isn't just videos and pictures; it's a lot more than that, right? It tells a story, and hopefully she and I can build a credible and an incredible story for our client. I also see Clive in here. Clive, I actually follow Clive on social media. He has been posting a lot of great wisdom and business mindset stuff on Facebook. I see them. How you doing, man?
I would love your feedback, man. That would be great.
Absolutely. I mean, I love it. I love it. I would just put captions on there, just because when a lot of people are traveling or they're out, they don't really have their volume all the way up. So if you want people to watch your video more, maybe if they're not listening to it, which they're probably not, at least they're reading it.
Okay.
Right. But what you say is good stuff. But yeah, I know you've been really busy. How's your VA doing? I think her name is Joidi. Is that correct?
Yeah. So our other VA, it's been back and forth. Our other VA has she has a storm. She's in Jamaica, so she has a storm. Wow. She's not. So Dwight, it's been back and forth. Like, it's been crazy. The other thing is that so yeah, Dwight really wants to get with you, and we want to do all that. The other thing is that because I do need to nail down the social media whole, whole piece. And then what I was saying was the other thing is we're trying to create SOPs. I don't know. I'm going to probably have to hire somebody, another VA, to interview. I have a process that I do for SOPs. So we've been trying to nail all that down. So it's been a lot that we're trying to put in our business.
Yeah, man. I think SOPs are a great idea. It definitely builds authority and credibility, which I highly recommend you do. Is Joe gonna fit anything within that role, or are you just gonna have her fixated on what she's already doing?
Now she's doing what she's already doing. I'm going to hire somebody else to
Cool.
come in because I tried that with them already, but they're feeling they're not telling me because they always act like they can do everything, but I can see that it's not
Yeah,
exactly what I want. So there's the actual structure that I have, and I'm just
right.
going to bring somebody to actually just interview them and then
Gotcha.
put the SOPs where I want to put them at, so that
Awesome.
just have them just for. So the person I'm hiring is just for a project, and
That's a
then they'll
great
be
idea. That's a
done.
great idea. Absolutely. Yeah. I know you and I have talked about, me getting with Joe Whitey and talking about, some content scheduling, social media campaigns and stuff like that. Um, sounds like Joe Whitey is the more reasonable person to speak with rather than the other person in Jamaica.
Yeah,
But yeah, just have her message me. She and I can schedule something, and then you and I can personally talk about the deliverables and the scope of work at another time.
yeah. I need to tell her what's called. All right. Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to get that done because, like I said, Joadi handles all of that, right? And she handles all of that.
Yeah, just have her message me, and it all depends on how much she wants it. Like if she wants to like get new templates and like the trendiest designs and my feedback on her current designs, then she's got to message me, just because I work with people that really want to expand their knowledge and really grow their social media. And, I just don't have time hunting people down, and I'm sure you understand. But yeah, just have her message me and then I can get things started with her right away.
Waiting on me. That's all it is. I've been in New York. I had a funeral. There's been a lot going on.
I know, man. Yeah, for sure.
Not her. It's me. I'm the one that she really wants to do it. So I'm telling her to even come on here now so she can.
Awesome. Yeah. So, once he gets on here, I'll be more than happy to speak with her. But yeah, thank you for your feedback, Clive. Becky, I know you're a go-getter, you're chasing this dream, you're chasing this money and stuff like that. Did my presentation help you in any way? And if so, how? If not, just I'm so open to feedback and suggestions.
No, definitely. I mean, you put it in a perspective that I would not have thought of. So it really opened my eyes to a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
So no, I think it was very informative. It was
Appreciate it.
very insightful because like I said, I tend to be a bit of a procrastinator sometimes too.
Right.
So and just your openness about your struggles. I mean, I just got to tell you, I am so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
For everything that you have turned your life around and are such a positive influence on so many of us. So yeah, I mean, you should be proud of yourself.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been quite a journey, and I don't really like to dwell on it, but I do look at it as like, I did go really far. I did accomplish a lot of things, and I gotta thank you guys for giving me an opportunity to like share. This would not have happened without you guys, and I'm so happy to do this. To be quite honest, when I was building this presentation, number 5 was actually inspired by you, Becky, when we worked on those blogs and stuff. I know you have a very high standards of yourself, right? I wouldn't call yourself a perfectionist, but you definitely have very high standards, and you don't want work to be out there unless it's absolutely, your vision and, it's like damn near perfect. So when I was building this part of the presentation, I thought of you because I want you to, recognize that, you may procrastinate because maybe your standards are a little too high. Maybe it's okay that you lower your standards of work, but it's still, acceptable, and it still has the right information, and it's still valuable, and it hits the right people. So I just want to let you know that this step was inspired by you, right?
Thank you. I am a bit of I will really wanted to make sure everything is my voice and not my VA's voice.
Right.
And I probably do take that too far. So I mean, that's
don't get me wrong. It's
good
okay.
insight.
It's okay to tell, your VA your vision, and obviously you have to make the, corrections necessary, but at the same time, just understand that done is better than perfect. And it'll hit you once you produce X amount of content. You go, wow, I posted a lot of content and it's actually performing a lot better than I thought. I've learned this the hard way as well. And I'm sure you will experience this very, very soon. Gotcha. I see that Joe ID has entered. I haven't seen Joe ID since the first or second weekly coaching call. Joe ID, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I am good. I already went through the presentation, but this presentation is going to be on our YouTube channel. So if you guys haven't subscribed to Scale My Cleaning Business YouTube channel, I highly recommend you do that. Every video that's on there has been produced and edited by me. So you subscribing is a really big, support. And I want to give a big thank you to you guys. But Joadi, I would love for you to watch this video afterwards. It has opened up my eyes on content creating, and Becky also said it opened her eyes, and Kyle said it helped him understand a bit more balance, right? So I highly recommend you watch it. I will ask Joe ID and Clive to stay on after the call. But for everyone else, I want to let you know that this has been my call. It's been an absolute pleasure teaching this part of content to you guys. This is probably the most fundamental and core value of content building and what content is. And I'm a firm believer that if we're going to make content, we got to understand what it is, what it offers, and how we see ourselves in it. If we fail to understand that, then who are we to say that we're content creators? We're all content creators, but at least understand what it is, what it means to you, and how you can tell your story. So yeah, Chris says, to be honest, I never thought of it that way. Yeah, like content is a story, your even your own personal social media. If you were to look at your social media, let's say you're not yourself, Kyle, let's say you took a look at your social media and you didn't know who you were, is it going to convey who you really are to those people? Do you want people to, maybe you don't want people to know everything about you. That's fine. But in the world of VAs, while you represent other cleaning companies, you want to make sure that you tell their story to the fullest. Right? Clients don't work with the company. Clients work with the person. No one's going to work with the person that they think is like absolutely garbage and annoying and trash. People are willing to sacrifice the quality of cleaning or business if the person is a friend, a colleague, or just a really enjoyable person. So that is it for my call, everyone. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. I want to give a huge shout out to Kyle and Becky for always showing up. They're like my biggest supporters. They're always there. They ask the greatest questions. And I want to thank you guys personally. For the rest of you guys, my calls are every Monday, 1 p.m. Central. We go over really cool things. We talk a lot about different content strategies, different marketing tips, time management. And I would love for you guys to be a part of it. So thank you guys so much for hopping on this call. You guys can now leave. And I'll see you guys next Monday.
All
right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Eric.
See ya.